Assalamu alaikum. One of the most serious problems that we face today is the negligence of self-development, as the vast majority of us are just waiting for change to be made by someone else. New generation, a new government, a superpower or a powerful leader. Therefore, we're not supposed to put in any type of labor to change ourselves and eventually change this terrible reality, forgetting or obliterating the fact that any change starts from the inside and from any one of us. The effects of this difficulty have reflected on all levels and classes, on the individuals, on the family, on the whole community with its different foundations, and finally on the leading regime. Because none of the above believes that they are key players in our path to revive. Well, it's not a problem if change was initiated by a good leader or a good government, because that's really their job. And because they play a very significant role as policymakers and managers of all of the affairs of the state. But they're definitely not the determining factor for us to make a change and change our situation. Because first of all, they're not always good. And then if you want to make a difference from up there, you can't do it unless you get down to the people and communicate with the public. So we cannot fully depend on a government to make our lives better. We've got to do something ourselves, right? We cannot throw all our hardships on an inept government that is unable to agree on its domestic and foreign policies. They actually grapple with one another to agree on signing a single official proclamation. So when we entrust a single entity with the task of improving our country and reforming our country, we are miscalculating the issue. Because real and comprehensive change starts from the bottom, from the individuals, from the family, the community, and then the government as a manager. Regarding managers, in management and in the business world, there is a theory called the bottom-up approach. I think most of you are familiar with the topic. It means that decision-making and process implementation originates from lower levels and proceeds upwards. In reality, the term is not entirely true to this concept, but because there is still great input from team managers and leaders. The term is more defined in opposition to the top-down approach, which is a rigid system where decisions are made without discussion and orders are given from the top of the pyramid and everyone below has to follow without question. So the benefits of this approach include, and this is the important part, forming a unique perception of the country, its path to revive and all the partners of change, detecting and measuring operational risk, reallocating assets and decision-making power, and also giving voice to all citizens. With a bottom-up approach, those who are more involved with the specifics of their field are included in the ideation and brainstorming process, with the result being a more harmonized and inclusive management system. In comparison, the only thing we're good at is cabinet reshuffle. Our governments have been always changing, constantly changing since 1956, our independence. We got to a point where we don't really care who those people are and what their strategies and plans are, because we already know that nothing's going to change, nothing's going to happen. But this resulted from the belief that change happens at a horizontal level, up there, as I said. When in reality, change must be systemic, all over the place and starting from the most basic level. And at this moment, I want to remind myself and you guys that nurturing our souls, our intellectual and ethical standards is the foundation to any type of revival. Because Allah does not change the state of devastation, or this state of devastation we're living in, unless we have the will to change our condition. Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ وَإِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ سُوءًا فَلَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ وَمَا لَهُ مِن دُونِهِ مِنْ وَالٍ. Surely Allah does not change what is in a people until they change what is in themselves. And Allah wills to inflict an odious treatment on a people, then there is no turning back for it. And apart from Him, in no way do they have any patron. In language, change is defined as to make something or someone different, or to replace something with something else, especially something of the same kind that is newer or better, or to substitute one thing for another. And as you can imagine, there are stages for change to happen. In psychology, there is a theory called the trans-theoretical model of behavior change, which is an integrative theory of therapy. And I'm saying this because at this very moment, we are in much need of therapy. Our country is torn apart. So this is an integrative theory of therapy that assesses an individual's readiness to act on a new, healthier behavior and provides strategies and processes of change to guide the individual. So according to this theory, change is a process involving progress through a series of stages, 6 in number. And I'll walk you through them just briefly. Number 1, pre-contemplation, where people are not intending to take action in the foreseeable future and are most likely unaware that their behavior is problematic. 2, contemplation, where people are beginning to recognize that their behavior is problematic and start to look at the pros and cons of their continued actions. 3, preparation, where people are intending to take action in the immediate future and may begin taking small steps towards change. 4, action, where people have made specific overt modifications in their lifestyle and positive change has occurred. And then 5, maintenance, where people are working to prevent relapse, a stage which can last indefinitely. And then finally, number 6, which is termination, where individuals have zero temptation and 100% self-efficacy. They're sure then they will not return to their old unhealthy habit as a way of coping. So the psychological part of change is of paramount importance because it is the soul and the self and the will that drives the person to transform and update to a better version. So having a solid grasp of the different stages of change is our first step to improve. So what I wanted to say is that just chanting in streets will not change anything, and airy hopes won't take us anywhere. Daydreaming about a Sudanese utopia is nonsense, and awaiting change from foreigners/unpatriotic folks is a chimera. On the other hand, rational comprehension of the situation is a yes. National reconciliation is a yes. Production is what we need. Accepting one another is what we need. Accepting one another, no matter what tribe we belong to, what ideology we believe in, or what party we're part of, are the things, or is the thing that we need so we can surmount our difficulties. The bottom line, let's agree on Sudan, and let's always remember that organization never change, people do.